This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Cosmos Alpha, a case so big that I could probably fit inside. A case so heavy that by the end of this review, the table will most likely be bowing. With a length of roughly 640 millimeters, a width from leg to leg of 325 millimeters, a height of 669 millimeters, and sitting off the ground by roughly 35 mil. This case is just full of metals and glass, and that is why it is so weighty. So let's first take a look at the outside. The front panel is a large piece of tempered glass, roughly 3.5 to 4 mil thick, and it has a lot of weight to it. You can tell it's weighty because if you follow the gap here, you'll see that it gets larger and larger. So the hinges actually can't support the weight fully. So you actually have to lift up the glass a tiny bit to actually push it back in place. So we unhinge it and it'll automatically drop a bit. So this large piece of glass is definitely putting pressure on the hinges at the rear. And if you want to remove the front and back panel, simply lift up and pull it out. The front of the case features a really nice design, really open with lots of airflow, and there is a dust filter built in. You simply just grab the panel, it's just magnetized on, and then you have access to your fans. Down the bottom, we have a dust filter which simply slides out like so. A nice open design for plenty of air to get through. Top of the case, we've got mic jack, we've got 4 USB type A's, 2 USB type C, reset, power, and lighting control. Top of the case is not exactly a dust filter, but it is a finer mesh, so it will stop a lot of that dust from going through. But realistically, you would normally be exhausting hot air out of the top, so dust shouldn't be as much of an issue. And to remove this, you just pull up at the back. It's all magnetized on, but plenty of airflow could get through. Rear of the case, we have a magnetized panel with loads of airflow. Simply pull it out and you have access to more mounting, whether you want to put a radiator or more fans at the back. Rear of the case, massive cutout for airflow, and you'll learn more about that later as we dive into the case. And much like the glass panel at the front, when you take this one out of its slot, you will notice that it too has a bigger gap up here as opposed to this end. This panel's not as heavy as the glass, but it still puts pressure on those hinges at the rear here. Inside the case, we have this rear panel here, which hides all of your cables, which can be removed by releasing 2 screws underneath. Our fan and RGB hub has 4 fan ports and 5 RGB ports. Again, you can sync it up to the LED control at the front of the case. We can also install 3 hard drives on that panel, or 2 if you want to keep that hub there, and also the opportunity to mount 3 SSDs. By the way, this whole panel can be completely removed. You look around the whole framework of the case, we've got loads of tie down points all the way through this side, all the way up the top here. Another tie down point, a bunch of tie down points here, and a few over at the side here as well. The back of the motherboard tray is completely open for that back connect motherboard support and easy access to any CPU cooler brackets that you might have installed. Both down the bottom of the case and up the top of the case, you have the option to mount a power supply. Both are not restricted in any way. You can fit any size power supply you wish. So depending on your layout, it's up to you whether you want to go top or bottom. The biggest radiator you could fit down here if you're not using a power supply would be a 360mm radiator. A 420 just quite doesn't cut it. However, the rails are on slides, so if you want to fit a wider radiator in, then you could potentially fit a 360 by 180 if you can find that size anywhere on the market. Thickness you have to play with here is about 95 mil. So if you take 25 mil off for the fan thickness, you'll be looking at about 70 mil max for your radiator. And up the top here, it's pretty much identical to the bottom. Same radiator specs, 360mm radiator with a total of about 95 mil worth of thickness. And again, we have the adjustable brackets. If you love water cooling, they have 2 extra brackets on these rails here. So you can slide this all the way and you can have a 360 by 360 setup in the rear, which is why this rear dust panel is so big. So let's say I do want to install 3 360mm radiators, as well as the 360 down the bottom for 1 mega water cooling machine. The problem I have is the motherboard tray is right up against them. So if I was to install fans, which are not installed right now, it actually wouldn't fit at all. And there's also no room for cables. Well, Cooler Master has come up with a solution, so let's check it out. In this rear section of the case, once we zoom right in, you will notice that this motherboard tray has something called air cooling mode and liquid cooling mode. The whole motherboard tray can actually shift forward to make room for the radiators and the fans and the cables at the rear. Air cooling mode allows for much larger CPU tower coolers, whereas when you're in liquid cooling mode, you're most likely going to have a CPU water block which isn't thick at all. So you can push the motherboard tray all the way forward to make so much more room for radiators. You can see how much more space there is between the radiator and the back of the motherboard tray. That's about 75 mil until I hit this 30 millimeter thick radiator, which means you have about 105 mil worth of clearance at the rear for water cooling mode, but you need to take into account where you're going to be routing your cables. So try and leave plenty of room for them. I do imagine that once you've got a motherboard installed, the airflow is going to be absolutely terrible for those rear radiators. So I would recommend removing this panel to expose more air gaps. Also makes it so much easier for the tubes to route out. The case does come pre-installed with the two 200 millimeter fans and this 120 millimeter fan at the rear. There is plenty of space here at the rear to add a few extra brackets if you want to install some more fans, or potentially add in an extra radiator. You could 100% fit a 360 radiator at this rear section here. The only problem is if you constantly need to remove USBs or display from your graphics card or motherboard, this could potentially become an issue. And another thing you need to keep in mind is if you install your power supply down the bottom, you want to make sure the ports are actually up the top so you have plenty of room to route the tubes. Or if your power supply is up the top, put the ports down the bottom like I have so you can route the tubes straight under. A 30 mil thick radiator is about all you're going to fit in there as well, because you need to remember that once you have the motherboard installed, you're going to have the USB sticking out, so you don't have a lot more room to play with. Just make sure you install your USBs first before you install this radiator. While it's kind of possible to fit your hand back there, there's not a lot of room to work with, so you're just going to make it harder for yourself. As mentioned before, the case comes with two 200 millimeter fans. So if you want to take these fans out as a whole, you can just remove this plastic bracket, which is 2 screws. You undo the bracket top and bottom on both sides, and then you can simply slide it out like that. You could also do that at the front. All of these mounting holes here allow you to install the brackets wherever you like, depending on the size fan you have or size radiator. I've got a 360 in here, but you could 100% fit a 420. A 480 is too tall to actually fit in this gap. If you were to put a 420 in here, your issue is going to be lining up so that you're not colliding with any of these rail systems. So if you get the 420 to go above this top rail, you're actually going to collide with the cables up there. So it's kind of looking like if you want to utilize as much radiators in this build as possible, putting the ports down the bottom where there is ample room to go straight under and into this power supply chamber, I think that is going to be the best setup for water cooling. Radiator thickness, we have 30 mil to play with once we add fans. Fans are usually about 25 mil. So in total, we have 60 mil. So you couldn't actually go any thicker than this 30 mil radiator. Unless, of course, you just leave the front dust filter off and just have a monster radiator sticking all the way out. You could do that. Moving inside the case, you can pretty much fit any motherboard you like, all the way up to E-ATX or EEB motherboard support. However, if you want to fit anything bigger than ITX, then we're going to have to move this cable cover over here or completely remove it. CPU tower coolers, you've got about 175 mil worth of clearance. But honestly, if you're buying this case to do CPU air cooling, you are missing out on so many features. Any GPU on the market will fit this case. This one is about 358 mil. We've still got another 88 mil before we even come close to the radiator brackets. And you'll notice along the rails on both sides that there is plenty of holes for mounting different accessories from Cooler Master. This case actually came with the GPU support bracket, and you can see that it's holding up our graphics card nicely. We've got a water blocked GPU, and we're in air cooling mode. If I was to turn this into liquid cooling mode, this terminal here would be sticking way out and I couldn't close the door. I'm almost at my max here. I've only got probably another 1.5 centimeters, so 15 mil, before I would actually hit the glass. What does that mean? That means that I couldn't really run this radiator setup at the rear. Now, there are some graphics cards where the terminals actually come out the side, but majority on the market come out the front, which doesn't leave much room at all. Bit of an afterthought there. However, if we go ahead and install our vertical GPU accessory bracket, you can see that with the motherboard tray all the way back, the GPU has way too much sag. Now, with the motherboard tray all the way back, unfortunately, our GPU support bracket can't actually reach the GPU when installed. So if you want to leave it in this layout with the GPU all the way back, unfortunately, it's going to be hanging like that the whole time. So we are kind of forced to bring the motherboard tray forward, which is what we want as water coolers anyway, to create room for our radiators. Now that the tray is forward, you can see the support bracket reaches, the GPU's nice and level, and we have so much more room at the rear for the radiators to breathe. Possible reservoir locations depend on where you're going to be running the tubes. You could theoretically drill some holes in this back panel here and have a large tube reservoir sitting here. However, not very smart when it comes to tube routing. The ideal location's probably going to be in this front section here attached to the radiator brackets. However, what I was thinking is, because we have this rail here with all of those holes and this rail here with all of those holes for mounting, if we could get a piece of metal to go across the front here, drill holes to mount the back of our reservoir to. Then we're going to get it out of the line of the radiator, bringing air in so that not only do we have optimal airflow, we've got a fantastic place to mount our reservoir. Alternatively, both this top panel here and this bottom panel can be removed, which will give us so many more options. And so if we didn't have any other ways to mount our reservoir, we could utilize the top of the fan by adding in the correct bracket to mount it straight onto the fan like so, and it will sit here in place. We still have plenty of room for the tubes to route out and around, or out and behind, and we're barely impeding the airflow at the front here. Look, with the case being so big and so many mounting points, the options to mount reservoirs is a lot. You just need to get a bit crafty. And look, if you've got your power supply up the top and you're happy with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 radiators, you could remove this bottom radiator and put a nice flat pump res combo down the bottom there, where there's plenty of room and it's not impeding any air at all coming in and going out. Overall, a fantastic case with loads more features to be utilized due to all of its mounting capabilities. I am disappointed, however, that the radiators at the rear can only be utilized with a vertical GPU mount, especially for a case that costs 599 Australian dollars or 390 US dollars. If you want to go all out for water cooling, this could certainly be the case for you, especially if you're okay with vertical mounting. Let me know what you guys think about this case in the comments section. And this case right here has 3 separate compartments, which dramatically lower the GPU and the CPU temperatures like never before. Go and check it out.